I'm out at the range today and I'm testing out some 223 Remington reloads. And these are just a 55 grain full metal jacket boat tail by CamPro. And they're loaded in a federal, sort of their military style federal case, a S&B primer. And what we're really trying out here today is the powder. It's Dominion Arms D4064 SSC. It's sort of their non-canister version of IMR 4064. So we have got a bunch of different rounds loaded up here. I've got 25 grains, 25.5 grains, 26 grains, and 26.5 grains. So we're going to work our way up through those and see how they shoot over the chronograph. Alright, here are the chronograph results for 25 grains. Our low 2790, high 2846, for an average of 2814, extreme spread of about 56, standard deviation a little over 17, and the individual 10 shots. And obviously this is a bit too light of a load. We're certainly well under the sort of velocity range where we want to be for a 223, especially out of a 24-inch barrel like the one on the Remington. So let's go have a look at the target. Alright, here are the first 5, and it's looking like an 1 3/8 extreme spread for those 5. And then we fired another 5, so I'll move the camera over to those. And after a bit of sight adjustment, there's the second 5. And those are a little better. That's just over 1 1/4 inches, I would say. And that is not a target bullet by any means. That's just a full metal jacket boat tail, kind of a bulk bullet, but that's not too bad of shooting for that cheap of a bullet. This is with 25.5 grains of the D4064 SSC and a 55 grain bullet. These are low 2880, high 2933, for an average of 2911, extreme spread 52, standard deviation 16.34, and the individual 10 shots. Once again, looks like there is room for improvement with velocity. We've got a couple more charge weights to try yet with higher charges. So let's go have a look at the target. This is the 25.5 grain charge, and I think our groups are going in the wrong direction here. We have about 1.5 inches for that one extreme spread. We got another group we fired with the same charge. So here's the second group with the 25.5 grain charge. And it's also, it's actually about 1 5/8 inches for that one. Interesting spread, just a vertical string there. Anyway, we've got a couple more charges to try. We'll go back and give those a whirl. Here are the chronograph results with 26 grains. There's our low, 29.26, high, 3008, for an average of 29.69, extreme spread of 81.48, standard deviation of almost 22, so the standard deviation is actually increasing. And there's our individual shots. So I've only got one more charge weight to go, but I'm starting to think that this powder is just too slow for 223 with 55 grain bullets. It might be okay for a heavier bullet like a 68, 69 grain. Might be fine for that, but you can't really get enough of it in these 223 cases to get up to a decent speed, or so it would appear. But anyway, we got 10 more to try. So this time, rather than fire two 5-round groups, I just fired a single 10-round group, and it's quite large, as you can see. Let's see, we're looking at, let's see, damn near 2 3/4, 3 inches, something like that. I'm not going to measure it too exactly because it doesn't really matter, it's big. We got one that dropped out below here, and then the other ones are in a couple of inches, but still not very good for a rifle that is as accurate as that one is. Anyway, we'll go back and one more 10-shot volley with the highest charge weight. Alright, here we have the very last charge weight I tried, 26.5 grains. This is a somewhat compressed load in this little cartridge case. And 29.91 is the low, 3054 is the high, for an average of 3022, so at least we broke the 3000 feet per second barrier. Extreme spread of 62.67. Standard deviation of 17.6, and the individual 10 shots. So seems to be settling back down a little bit compared to the last charge weight. There might be room for maybe 0.2 of a grain more. I might try that at a future date, but this thing needs I think a heavier bullet with this powder to work properly. So here's a 10-round group with the 26.5 grain charge and that 55 grain CamPro bullet, and it looks like it's like a 2 1/8 inch center to center for the extreme spread for those. Oh no, a little more than that, more like a 2 maybe 2 1/4. That one's actually further apart. So not great. That bullet will usually shoot into 1.5 inches out of that rifle with a good load, so apparently just too slow a powder.